inside this folder, we can see our JA_create order. Before we start coding, let's take a look at what's been provided for us. Hey there, and welcome to the Mendix How-Tos. One of Mendix's greatest strengths is the ability to add custom code extensions using Java. Anything which isn't 100% achievable with out-of-the-box functionality is often accomplishable in Java. But knowing where to start can be difficult for new users. That's why today I'm going to be showing you how to create and write your own custom Java actions, as well as work with data and variables inside of them. So before we get started, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need to have Mendix Studio Pro version 8 or higher installed on your device, and you're going to need Eclipse IDE as well, which you can download for free at eclipse.org/downloads. So in this example, we're going to be manually creating Mendix objects inside of a Java action. So based off of the data provided in actions parameters, we're going to create and return an order entity. So let's go to our domain model now, and we'll create that order entity. Name it order. If we open it up, we need to add 3 attributes. Firstly, username, which is a string. Then we'll add address, which is also a string but unlimited. And then we're going to add order total, which will be a decimal. To create the Java action, simply click where you want it in the Project Explorer and right-click to open the menu. Go to Add Other and then Java Action. We need to name our action something appropriate, and the convention for an action is JA_ and then whatever you want to call your action. So for this is going to be create order. Now we need to take some time and add our parameters. The parameters we're going to add are the ones we created in the order entity. One thing I like to do is to add the suffix _param to the end of mine, so that I know there are parameters provided by Mendix in the Java code. So I'll add username _param. I'll add address. We also need to set the return type of the Java action. For this, our return type is going to be an object of type order. So select order inside of your My First module. While in Studio Pro, you can either press F6 or you can go to Project, Deploy for Eclipse. Once it's deployed, we can go into Eclipse and then import the project. In order to do this, we can click on File, Open Projects from File System. For input source, choose Directory, choose the root of your project, and then click Finish to import it. Once it's imported, we can double click to expand it. Then look under Java source, and we're going to look for our module name .actions. So for us, it's my first module.actions. And inside this folder, we can see our JA_create order. Before we start coding, let's take a look at what's been provided for us. Mendix automatically manages and creates most of the default code here. So to start off, we have the imports for working with the Mendix libraries. We have a public class named after our Java action name. We have some private variables, which are the private parameters, which are the parameters we provided. And then we have a constructor method, which will create this public class. We then have a couple methods and some code blocks where we can start coding. So it's very important to note that besides these begin and user codes, and as well as this one down here and the imports above, anything outside of these areas will be overwritten at runtime. So make sure to put all your code in the provided areas. In order to create an entity, we have to import that entity's proxy. You can see all the proxies for a module down here. And basically what this proxy is a list of methods created to deal with this entity in Java. So if we just add an import statement here, import my first module, we'll now have access to all of the proxy's methods. Then in the first begin and end user code block, we need to create a context object, which will be required for the method's constructor. So we can do this by saying iContext we can then create our order entity and pass the context object into the constructor using order equals new order. Next up, we need to set the attributes we created in the domain model. We can do that with new order and then by calling some of the proxy methods available to us. So we're going to call set username, and we're going to set that to the username underscore param field, and we're going to add new order dot set address, use address param, new set order total, and again set that to the parameter. Finally, all we need to do is to return our order entity, and we can do that by calling return and then using new order dot get Mendix object. And this is going to convert our object from a regular Java object into our Mendix object. Remember to save your work, and now we can call this Java action wherever we want. So I'm just going to add it to a microflow quickly. We can now call our Java action from any microflow we want. After I provided some test data, we can invoke this and inspect the data in the debugger. Remember to give your object name a value. If I add a breakpoint here and run this, we can inspect. When I step over in the debugger, you can see the object is created in the variable tab. It's using the data we provided, so we can be sure it's working. Now you're able to create and write your own Java actions using Mendix. You might not be an expert yet, but you're well on your way to being a better Java developer with Mendix. Don't be afraid to play around and experiment. Why not try adding more attributes to the action, or even to work with file objects inside of Java? There are endless possibilities with Mendix and Java, so what are you waiting for? Go make them.